We're not the suits that talk football. We're the dudes that know football. And you've just crossed over into the trend zone. Casey here with Dave. We are the football dudes. Dave, are you ready, bro?
Oh, yeah. You got that right, my friend. Let's do it.
We've been sitting a week. We're ready to get
Woo.
going. And our next stop is the trend zone. It's Tuesday, February 2nd. Groundhog Day. Dave, do you know if Paxatoni Phil saw his shadow?
I do not.
I do not know. All I know is don't drive angry. We are coming to you from Los Angeles, California, and it is a beautiful 67 degrees in February. Dave, what you got on the west side?
62 over here on the west side. Absolutely a gorgeous day. Absolutely.
It's gorgeous, bro. In today's episode, we'll talk about the coaching carousel has come to a complete stop. Huge news about a huge cut of a little guy with a big cost out of South Beach. And of course, the last huge fiesta of the year. But Dave, before we get into our trip into the trend zone, we can't do it without a tasty nug for the people. And I know you're holding.
Dude, I got one right here, and it's a good one. So on Championship Sunday, no fourth quarter points were scored in either game. And it's ironic because in the first 10 games of the 2025 postseason, 15 lead changes happened in the fourth quarter, an all-time record. No fourth quarter changes, obviously, with no scoring in the fourth quarter. Wow. That is just a shocker. And the scoring was electric. But yeah, we'll see. The last score in the Rams Seahawks happened with 17 minutes remaining in the game. In the Patriots Broncos, it was with 20 and a half minutes just about in the game. So, yeah, it was a total of like almost 37 and a half minutes towards the end of those two games combined with no actual scoring. Pretty crazy.
I don't even know if I believe you. And I watched the Seahawks Rams game, dude. Oh my
Right?
God. That is mind blowing, bro.
Yeah, it is shocking. You have to go back and look at it. And yeah, there's double zeros for each team in the fourth quarter. They just went back and forth. It seemed like fireworks were constant in the
Yeah.
game. Obviously, we know what happened in Denver. The snow won the war, right?
That was
And
crazy, dude. When they did the time lapse, like it was still
I know,
bright, sunny midway through the third quarter, and then
right?
unbelievable.
Yeah, the weather just shut it down for any competence on offense at all.
Oh man, we will get to a little bit of those games in just a minute, but I did want to let the peoples know the Trend Zone, the pod you're listening to right now, available for subscription, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Blueberry. Dave,
All the good
it's
stuff.
everywhere, bro. The
Yeah.
Trend Zone is everywhere.
Everywhere where you get your podcast, Casey, that's for sure.
And I get mine in a lot of places, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Dave, we talked about it at the top. The coaching carousel has come to a screeching halt,
Yep.
and unfortunately, one of the peoples on that carousel is leaving our Los Angeles Chargers, but we knew.
Yeah, we saw this coming. It wasn't a matter of if Jesse Minter was going to leave and become a head coach. It was when. And this was the offseason after 2 seasons as the defensive coordinator for the Chargers and doing an excellent job there, really coaching up that defense to be better than the players really that made up that defense. So Minter and his coaching heads to Baltimore. It's just you know,
It's a
pretty
nice
exciting for him. He's been sort of on a rise where it just was pretty clear that he was head coaching material.
and he's got the ties to the Ravens organization, so it's a no-brainer for those guys too.
Yeah, and the Ravens putting together their staff here. Declan Doyle, offensive coordinator. He was with the Bears as their OC last year, even though Ben Johnson made the calls there. So that's why he could move on from that. And then Anthony Weaver as their defensive coordinator. He was up for a handful of these head coaching jobs. So got to believe that's a pretty good staff they're assembling there.
And let's go ahead and keep it in the AFC North. Steeler fan was none too happy with Mike Tomlin. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, well, it's a departure from standard procedure for hiring a younger, ascending, defensive-minded coach for the Steelers. And instead, you get sort of a retread and an offensive-oriented guy. He does have the connection to Aaron Rodgers. So if you like Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback there in the Steelers, maybe that makes it more likely that he's going to keep coming back. He certainly seemed to
Who are we
be.
talking about here, man?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Mike McCarthy,
Oh,
Casey.
there you
There's
go.
the guy. He's back. Obviously, won the Super Bowl with the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. So, uh,
Who
yeah,
did they
this
beat in that Super Bowl?
could it have been the Steelers? I imagine.
Okay, so technically it's an upgrade, maybe? I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
we shall see. Also, Steelers. Oh, this of note: Mike McCarthy will be calling the plays there as sort of as the offensive coordinator there. So on defensive side, Steelers hire Patrick Graham as their defensive coordinator, and he's been the Raiders DC for the last 4 years. I don't know about that one,
Good
Steeler
news
fans.
for a Steeler fan, you're getting Mike McCarthy and the defensive coordinator from the Raiders.
Yeah, he has got a long coaching, career there for Patrick Graham. But yeah, that one, you got to wonder. I guess we'll have to see, Steeler fan, right?
Yeah, I hope you like the 10-yard comebacks in that offense. Or Dave, tell me a story about a man named Brady.
Yeah, the Bills announced Joe Brady as their new head coach, Casey, and it's kind of like more of the same in a way. He was already there as the offensive coordinator since 2022, so obviously the Bills offensively weren't an were not an issue at all, and so there's good news there in that they're going to continue on and stay the course offensively, and now. Good news, they got rid of that defensive oriented head coach. He's out of the way there, Casey.
Yeah, because get more offense because that's what they were lacking. And actually, I love both of these moves on the coordinator positions for these Bills.
Yeah, Bills hire Pete Carmichael Jr. as the offensive coordinator. He comes from that Sean Payton tree, and he was with the Saints and then with the Broncos as well. And then on the defensive side, they hired Jim Leonard as defensive coordinator. A lot of teams were interested in him, and he was the Broncos' assistant head coach and defensive pass game coordinator there. So they get a couple of guys there. He was also senior defensive analyst at Illinois in 2023 before he joined the Broncos staff last year. So Jim Leonard was one of those, sought after dudes. So Bills got him.
And this job didn't have a lot of heat around it. Didn't seem to be highly coveted, but
Yeah.
they finally got their guy.
Yeah. Browns get Todd Monken as head coach. That's the good year. He spent the good news. He spent the last 3 seasons as the Ravens offensive coordinator, and they put up some good offensive numbers there. You got an MVP there in Lamar that Monken had a lot to do with, but um, it also did rub the feathers wrong of the defensive coordinator who thought he should have been ascending to the job as the head coach there,
Short.
Short. So he's not too happy with that situation. He wants to kind of break ties, it looks like. So who knows if they'll get him back in the fold.
Interesting. And we have a coach that's on the precipice of a championship going from the top right to the bottom.
That's right. Clint Kubiak is
Cougs.
Cubes. That's right. Set to be hired by the Raiders after the Super Bowl. Obviously, uh, Gary Kubiak won the Super Bowl with the Broncos back. I think it was I don't know what Super Bowl 50 or something like that. But um, yeah, definitely Clint Kubiak was a sought after offensive coordinator there for the Seahawks. What he was able to do with Sam Darnold in that offensive unit, and so he was the guy that the Raiders targeted there, and yeah, they're pretty
You know,
stoked to get him. They got a lot of cap room. They got the number one pick in the draft, and they're going to get apparently Fernando Mendoza.
yeah, good.
Mendoza.
Maybe, yeah, maybe it will get that thing turned around. And Dave, how many LaFleurs are out there in this NFL, bro?
Yeah, I don't know if there's another LaFleur brother that we're not aware of, but obviously the Cardinals are set to hire Mike LaFleur as their head coach. He's been uh, the Rams offensive coordinator, and now he's going to be their next head coach. Obviously, anybody that had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay is good to go
Hot
to be an
stuff.
offensive genius, right? And obviously, he was also spent some time with the 49ers under Kyle Shanahan. So it's that entire Shanahan McVay tree there that we're looking at here. And it's a pretty, sought after, you know, offensive scheming and such. So we'll see if LaFleur here obviously can do his thing with the Cardinals. It'll be
Man,
interesting. Two
10,
brothers there now in the league as head coaches.
10 head coach changes, over 20 coordinator changes. Man, it is
Oof.
going so fast and furious.
Yeah, I mean, I will go fast and furious with this. Miami hired Bobby Slowick to be their offensive coordinator. He was a hot commodity a couple of years ago before falling out of grace with the Titans. The Dolphins hire Sean Duggan as their defensive coordinator there. He worked under Halfley, who's their new head coach previously. Moving on to Atlanta, Tommy Reese, the former Notre Dame quarterback and fast rising offensive coordinator there. He'll be the Atlanta offensive coordinator, and he will call the plays there under Stefanski. He's been working with Stefanski in Cleveland, so there's a connection there. The Bucks finalizing their deal, of course, to get Zach Robinson as their OC. He spent 2 seasons as the offensive coordinator of the Falcons, so of course he's familiar with the territory there. Um, Moving on, geez, this list is unbelievable. Titans announced Brian Daboll as their offensive coordinator. He, of course, was the Giants head coach for a handful of years there, got them to the playoffs and actually got a playoff victory, although not an exceptional overall record. Titans hiring Gus Bradley as their defensive coordinator, former Raider there, has a lot of experience, a nice guy. I like him a lot. Good luck to him and to them. Broncos promoting from within. This guy, Davis Webb, was sought after. He's now going to be their offensive coordinator, and he's been on staff there. He was their quarterbacks coach the last 3 seasons and had the offensive pass game coordinator going on there. So now he'll be elevated to the coordinator position. Commanders hire Vikings assistant Durante Jones as their defensive coordinator. He was the Vikings defensive passing games coordinator and defensive backs coach. So Commanders get a guy there that they were after. Cowboys, Casey, want to jump in here?
Yeah, Christian Parker as our defensive coordinator, 34-year-old, baby. Steal him out of Philadelphia, which I love. They've been playing some pretty good defense up there for the last couple of years. And before his stop in Philly, he was with the Broncos around a couple good DBs there. And he spent some time with the Packers there. So one thing we've seen wherever this guy has been has had good cornerback play, which the Cowboys did not have last year. They're really hoping they can bring him in and work with Revel and Bland there and get those guys back up to speed. So Dallas changing from their normal ways, bringing in a retread, getting a young buck here, man. I like the direction, bro.
Nice. Back to the Packers, which I forgot. Jonathan Gannon is now their defensive coordinator. So obviously, the former head coach for the Cardinals there, and previous to that was the Eagles defensive coordinator. So Giants agreeing to Denard Wilson as their defensive coordinator. He was the Titans DC the last 2 seasons. The Jets hired Brian Duker as their defensive coordinator. He was with the Dolphins as their secondary coach there for a couple seasons. So we'll see how he gets going there under Aaron Glenn's leadership there. My Chargers hire Chris O'Leary as defensive coordinator. Very exciting. He was Western Michigan's defensive coordinator, and he did a lot of great things last season. Before that, though, the season before that, he was on the Chargers staff as the safeties coach. So sort of a quick rising guy there. Before that, it was with Notre Dame, and they have put out a handful of pretty good secondary guys out of Notre Dame under his tutelage. So Chargers and the Chargers themselves, the players, excited to get this guy as the dude. 49ers bringing in Raheem Morris as the DC. So another former head coach of the Falcons, getting some more work here. Falcons also hire Ian Cunningham as the new GM. He's been on the last handful of seasons, been a guy who people keep talking to as a potential GM, finally gets his go. And then Mike Kafka joins the Lions staff as a high-ranking offensive assistant. So Kafka, part of the metamorphosis that occurred with Daniel Jones on the Giants under Daboll back then, as well as Josh Allen on the Bills before that. So good stuff there. Vikings get Frank Smith as assistant head coach and offensive line coach, probably because that guy is also a dude that has been very successful coaching offensive line. So, and then moving on to the Vikings, they fire Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. Anything on this one for you, Casey?
Some kind of brainiac there. No, man. Some very questionable moves, and you go back and look at the draft class of the last couple years, man, and they just have not hit on much. So
Yeah. Also consider having Daniel Jones and Sam
Sam
Darnold
Darnold.
and JJ McCarthy, and then getting rid of two guys that end up starters on other teams, and then having a guy who goes into his second season after missing his first season due to injury, and he's injury plagued.
Yeah, and you heard what Jetta had to say about it. So
Yeah,
it didn't
that did
seem
not
too
help.
happy. It did not. All right, Dave. If anybody has not fallen asleep with all
Woo!
this coordinator talk, I mean, that is absolutely
Pain.
crazy, dude. Holy smokes. But
Sorry about that, people.
um one thing the NFL did get right was continuing to tweak the kickoff rule, and I thought it kicked total ass this year, and the proof is in the pudding.
No question. So it was 74.5% of kickoffs were returned in the 2025 season after only 32.8 in the 2024 season. So the dynamic kickoff, as they like to push and call it, um, the tweak of moving the ball out to the 35 instead of the 30 was the deal that actually said for teams to said, hey, let's just go ahead and let's see if we can run, return this thing. So that it seems like the change has worked. The injuries are down, the returns are up, and it's all systems go. Could be some tweaks in the future, and also to the punt game somehow, but those would be much more nuanced.
Yeah, we saw it have effect right in the NFC Championship, right? Shaheed taking that kickoff
Oh
back
yeah,
for a touchdown. That crowd was frothing. You start with that. It's such an exciting play rather than, it's a touchback. We're coming
yeah,
out to the 20. So
yeah,
NFL got it right. Okay, Dave, we've been talking about the NFL's plan for global domination for probably a decade now.
yep.
Mission is almost achieved, bro.
Yeah, this year they announced that there will be 9 international games
Wow.
in 2026, the next season, including Mexico City, Madrid. Has got a deal to play long term, a game every year in Madrid. So ultimately, there are 3 London games, one in Paris, Madrid, Rio de Janeiro, Melbourne, and Munich. So Melbourne, Australia, crazy
I
talk.
think the Rams are scheduled for
Scheduled to
that
play
one,
there.
and the Saints for Paris.
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting. These games, you do lose a home game if you're a season ticket holder, but these games are the ticket is hot, hot, hot in these international games. So they're really these other uh, countries are just catching a little taste of American football, and man, they're digging it.
And Goodell's got even bigger plans for this international situation, right? He wants everybody to have one
Yeah. Oh,
season.
yeah. This is not the extent of the expansion. No question. At 9 here, I just think there's only so fast you can grow. But it's pretty clear that every team is going to have one per season, pretty dang soon,
Well,
and yeah, that's going to be pretty righteous.
yeah, we're going to 18 games and 2 bye weeks. It's just a matter of time. The NFL has a strategy lined out. All right, Dave, before we get to salary cap, the Dolphins are going to go into next year missing a huge part of that. Came out today that Tua's going to be a cap casualty, $99 million cap hit for these Dolphins.
I mean, it's utterly shocking that they're willing to eat that financially, but wow.
We've seen this though. I mean, this is the most ever, but the last couple years, more teams are willing to cut bait on these quarterback contracts. We saw the Broncos do it with Dangerous, man, and I don't know what the solution is because the quarterbacks aren't going to be taking less money moving forward.
Yeah, and right. I mean, it is a tough situation because you're kind of painted into a corner there when you commit to drafting a guy. Obviously, they the big problem was obviously signing him to the extension. So um, whoo, as a Charger fan, I'm just like, okay, because he was picked one pick before Justin Herbert, and I'm just fine going into next season with Justin Herbert pulling the trigger. Obviously, as much it's an injury issue as much as a performance issue. Um, so it's a Tua is a great dude. It certainly seems, but not everybody can handle the NFL
Oh.
beat down.
And the Cardinals are probably looking to move on from Kyler Murray too.
Hmm.
Both of these
Yeah.
guys are a little bit smaller at the position. I mean,
Right.
so I don't know if that has something to do with it or not, but I think both of these guys will find a home relatively quickly,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
they're probably going to have to fight their way back into a starting role, which is crazy for first rounders. It's not even been that long.
Yeah. High picks too. Right.
Yeah. All right. I mentioned it. The Dolphins already without a ton of their salary cap. At least they're getting a little good news on that situation.
Yeah, the cap is projected to be between 301.2 million and 305.7 million. So that's a big jump. Obviously, let's see, it was last year 279.2 million. So, and then nearly 100 million more than the 208 million dollars in 2022.
Wow.
So we see how quickly this number has popped up. The cap was 34.6 million in 1994. That was the first year of the cap. Went over 100 million for the first time in 2006 at 102 million. So pretty dang exciting that you just think of, oh, there's another dude we can sign. For every team is thinking the same thing, right? Every
Yeah.
fan base.
And then, what's that? The players get what, like 49% of the revenue. So
Right.
the owners get
Good news.
51% of it. So it's pretty good business. You can get a damn. Here's some of the teams with the most cap room moving into next year.
Yeah, Titans, Raiders, and Chargers
Ooh.
projected to have the most cap room, around 100 million plus. And that was kind of before this little leap here. So Chargers do have a bunch of free agents that are internal free agents that are going to need to get their money bag. So we'll see when it comes to signing outside free agents how much each of these teams is able to do. But I mean, we see each year. I mean, teams remake their a part of their team, a component of their team, and they can really take advantage. If you hit in free agency, you can really turn things around.
Yeah.
Obviously, the draft is the bigger long term plan.
Totally. I should have brought it to the show, but people give our Los Angeles Chargers so much grief about attendance in the games. Turns out the Chargers were top 10 in home attendance for the season. So we're going to put that myth aside. We're
Yeah.
good fans in LA, bro.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of fans of football. Not all of them are Charger fans, but they can get their hands on some tickets. Although the Chargers have been building, as the Rams have, a pretty good fan base of loyal fans. So, but yeah, it is a destination stadium, destination city. So you certainly have people that like their football teams and want to go, just like you do in Vegas nowadays.
Oh, yeah, you got that right. All right, Dave, let's get into it.
Yes.
Last week, a Survivor, 3 strikes. What was the most popular correct pick last week?
New England over Denver with just over 40% making that selection.
What was the most popular incorrect pick?
Denver over New England, 26.5% went down with that one.
Okay, and going into this week, what is the most popular pick?
That would be Seattle over New England at almost 80% of the contestants.
And we've got 3 contestants left in our Survivor 3 strikes. Lay the scenarios out for the people because
All
they've
right.
been
So
asking.
me and my brother have only the option of picking Seattle, and we each have 2 strikes in our 3 strike scenario. The other contestant has also got 2 strikes and can only pick New England. So It is first, second, and third place involved. So it's either going to be a two-way tie for first place between me and my brother and Matt with a third place finish, or Matt will finish first and my brother and I will share second and third.
That's not bad. You're
Not
getting
bad.
yeah,
Not
you're
bad.
getting money either way. That's a
I'll
win.
take it. It's a win for everyone. It's just how much of a win.
Dave, I got a quote for you.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't us. It was them, the Warriors. And if you tuned in to last week's game, you saw Mac Hollins come in barefoot. Warriors come out to play. And if you haven't seen the cult classic movie, The Warriors, do yourself a favor and go watch it now. But Dave, how did
Yeah.
they get that vibe going?
Yeah. Vrabel was kind of pushing the fact that they were the road Warriors, and they were 9-0, not playing in Gillette Stadium, and so uh, they are the home team. The home team alternates between conference each year, and as they were wearing their road jerseys all year long in those successful scenarios, going 9-0 on the road, they chose to go ahead and wear their white road jerseys here for the Super Bowl, as it was their option to do so. And of course, Vrabel showed them a clip from the 1979 film, The Warriors, and that led off a 3-game stretch that they obviously won all 3 of. So they
Can
kept it going.
you dig it? Oh,
They
such
are
a
keeping
rad
it
movie,
going.
dude. I love that. It's great. And this will be the first Super Bowl where both teams are color blocked, all blue for the Seahawks, all white for the Patriots.
Wow.
So
Okay. That's
that
right
is
this
going
week.
to be pretty cool. So, Dave,
Yes, sir.
ain't nothing to it but to do it, bro.
Let's
Let's
get
get
there.
to the Super Bowl. It is Super Bowl 60, Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots, and the Seahawks are favored by 4.5. David opened at 3.5, but it's crept up a little bit. So the money is going on to the Seahawks. And let's go ahead
Mhm.
and get into the reason why is because they've looked pretty damn dominant. They had the bye week 1, but the next 2 weeks they did work, bro.
Yeah, they crushed the Niners 41-6, and then they outlasted the Rams, our Los Angeles Rams, 31-27 in an awesome football game. Uh, just playing some great football on both sides of the ball, but in particular, Mike McDonald coaching that defensive squad up to be as strong as they are. It's been a heck of a run for the Seahawks, obviously, to get to the Super Bowl here.
Yeah, and a lot of people were talking about these Rams may be able to do something to upset them because traditionally last couple years, Sam Darnold has struggled against the Rams, but he had one of his best games of the season in that NFC championship. And
Yeah,
what was so dope about it, it was every late game scenario where it's like, run the ball here, get the clock going down, and then punt. Coobs and that offense was aggressive. They trusted Darnold to make the plays, heavy play action, but he completed all the passes when he really needed to. And Sam made all the plays in this game when he had to have it.
no doubt. I mean, it was an awesome team win on both sides of the football, but when it came down, it wasn't like they did it despite Sam Darnold. In the San Francisco game, they didn't really need Sam to do much. They just got out in front and destroyed. But in this game, Sam Darnold throws for 346 and 3 touchdowns. I mean, my gosh, that he was a reason that they won. Not so much, that he was just doing his job there. He was excelling.
And dude, what Jackson Smith and Jigba, man, it's absolutely crazy, dude. I love watching this cat play. He
Crazy
had a couple
game.
of humongous catches in this one too, dude, including the big touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, 10 for 153 is I mean, good lord. He was lighting it up.
And they had to battle back in this thing. They got up early. Rams came back, took a lead, and on the 4th and 12 with the personal foul, the taunting, just the selfish play.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then the very next play, Stafford attacks him, gets the touchdown. I thought, oh no,
Yep.
this might be the end for the Seahawks, but they battled back and came back and got the lead, dude.
Yeah, and overall, it was a nice, balanced performance too, in the sense that Kenneth Walker ran the ball well. Obviously, missing Charbonnet from them moving forward too, which is a huge disappointment. But Walker run the ball and pass receiving. When you add those touches up, he had 111 yards, I believe, on 23 touches or something like that. So ultimately, really nice productivity from Kenneth Walker, and obviously they have the explosiveness from Rashid Shaheed at their disposal.
And the Seahawks have played great defense all season long.
Oh yeah,
In this game, it was a little bit not bad defense, but when the teams know each other so well, it's kind of hard. Everybody's seen what you got and what you do. So the Rams were able to take advantage of some of that. But you flip it over to the AFC side,
yep.
and New England's been doing it all with defense.
Man, I'll tell you, starting off, they were the 2 seed. They start off by beating my Chargers, holding the Chargers to just 3 points, winning that game 16-3. Devastating defense there. They beat Houston 28-16, and I mean, they had C.J. Stroud out of
Oh,
sorts all game long with the way they were attacking him and confusing him back there, and he just had butterfingers the whole game. And then last week with a little help from the tsunami or whatever you call it, was a blizzard, obviously there, but they took care of business in the first 3 quarters before like the Mother Nature shut things down entirely. But an impressive 10-7 win, beating the Broncos there. And ultimately, this Patriots defense has done it all year long, shutting teams down and making it really, really difficult to figure out what they're doing pre-snap, and just playing sound fundamental football.
yeah. And this game, didn't start well for them. They had the quick 3-and-out. Broncos defense looking great.
Yeah.
Stiddy comes down. Stiddy getting
Hey.
shitty, baby. Had that touchdown, I think, on the Broncos' second drive. You
Yeah.
move to the second quarter, Dave. The Broncos had a chance to go up 10-0 on these Patriots. Sean Payton goes for it on 4th and 1.
Oops.
And you expect your players to make mistakes, but you don't expect your coaches to make mistakes. You pay them all this money and kick the field goal there. I
Yeah.
know different games you might need a touchdown there, but even without the crazy weather, it's not like these teams have been scoring a ton of points in
Mm-mm.
the playoffs, man. Points
Yeah, the
are
weather didn't come until
valuable.
the fourth quarter anyways, basically,
Yeah.
as we talked about. And you're right. Take your points. We talk about it all the time, and you stack those points, and they would have had a 10-0 lead there. The complexion of the game changes
Mhm.
from that point on. And his arrogance, Sean Payton afterwards, he said, I still would go for it. I just didn't like the play I called. Well, maybe you should have called a kick, to get the field goal, put your team in position to win.
Put some pressure on Drake May, dude. This cat
Right.
is obviously an
Rookie,
MVP
a
candidate
second-year
all
guy.
season long, but he wasn't having a great game. He's not had a great playoffs. He's made some plays here and there,
Yeah.
but he's also had a ton of turnovers. Two score game. What do the Broncos do the best? Get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
And you had a chance to make it a double-digit lead, and
Not
you
to
let
mention,
them
like you
up.
just said, they were the best sack team in the league by far, the Broncos. And also, there was a propensity for May to sort of get a little lackadaisical in the pocket and loose with the football. I mean, getting that 10-point lead and changing those circumstances around, putting the pressure on him, like you said. Who knows what transpires after that? Again, you're allowing your defense to really tee off and do what it does the best and get after the quarterback. And if you get one more turnover there, then you've got, then boom, you're out the gates.
Yeah, I think we might be lucky though that Peyton didn't kick the field goal there because that game might have gone on forever, dude. There was nothing happening in that thing late. Neither team was moving the ball.
Yeah.
It was a standstill there, so they might still be playing. But how unfortunate for the Broncos, but how fortunate for those Patriots. And Dave, before we get too deep into this, man, it was just about 10 years ago when these teams did battle in
Ooh.
a Super Bowl. New England left for dead, comes back, 14 points in the fourth quarter to take a lead, but Danger Russ, beast mode, Curse driving the Seahawks down there at the precipice, Dave.
Yep.
They had a 2nd and 1 to take the lead. Beast mode has been dominating. He just got you down there. What do
Yep.
you do?
I don't know why you don't give it to beast mode and let him score a touchdown. Instead, you decide to let Russ cook, and he overcooks it and tosses a pick. Malcolm Butler on the receiving end of a ill-advised pass, and he read it like a cheap comic book, man. He got in front of that ball and ended the Seahawks' quest for a second straight Super Bowl.
Dude, and beast mode would have been the Super Bowl MVP, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, including what would have been the game winner. Like
Yep.
I said, I think the play before, dude, he got them down there to the 1-yard
Yeah,
line, bro.
he was not going to be stopped.
No, I think they still had a timeout left in that game. Run the freaking rock, dude. He was unstoppable. And instead, dude, I still think about that game. I mean, I like the Seahawks. My wife is from Seattle, but they're not my team. Clearly a Cowboys fan. I still think about that Super Bowl all the time, dude. You were that close. And I just talked about Peyton making the huge mistake, keeping his team out of the Super Bowl. Pete Carroll keeps another Super Bowl victory away from the Seahawks, dude. He's got to think about that all the time.
Yeah, and obviously the reaction from Richard Sherman at that moment was classic. Classic.
Sherm dog, dude.
Yeah, he was unbelievably shocked. And then right before that, Tom Brady was looking just like he was beat.
Oh, yeah.
He was
knew.
beat.
He knew.
Yeah,
He knew about Marshawn.
that one got just gifted to them.
Unbelievable. And that kind of sparked the second run of Tom Brady and company. Dave, hopefully we can get a killer game like that one. Let's go ahead and take this thing back to the Seahawks.
Sure.
Let's go ahead and start with the Seahawks on offense. We got into a little bit of Sam Darnold. We're clearly pulling for him as a SC guy, a local kid around here. Goes to the Jets. Who doesn't struggle with the Jets? They let this guy go. He makes a couple of rounds, wins 14 games with the Vikings last year, kind of flames out in the playoffs. They kick him to the curb. What does he do? He goes to Seattle, and now he's got the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. And the last month of the season, he's been playing pretty good football, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, no question. I mean, he's been playing exceptional football really the whole season. It's been really a fun redemption story, it started last year, like you said, when he got his chance to be the Viking starter, even though he was there just to be a backup, and had a great season. But then the way it ended, the last 2 games left such a sour taste in everybody's mouth. But not the Seahawks. They went out and got him, replaced Geno Smith with him, and gave him full control of this offense. And he's had a phenomenal season all year long. So, I mean, this has been, the Seahawks offensively, they're 3rd in points per game. So 28.4 points a game is nothing to sniff at, right? So they get it done, both running the ball and passing the ball. It's a very balanced offense. So it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been great. And going into the season, they obviously let DK Metcalf go. They let Lockett go and kind of handed the reins over to Jackson Smith and Jigba. But they didn't just rest on that. They went out and got Cooper Kupp, and they brought Rashid Shaheed in at the trade deadline. And that guy has been such a dynamic weapon for these guys since the trade. But I talked about the opening kickoff last week against the Rams, scoring the touchdown. He adds a whole new element to that offense.
Yeah, he does. He's speed, and obviously the special teams component, as you just mentioned, exceptional. He did have 1 catch last week, but it was 51 yards. So that's a kind of those
got the game going on the offense. It kind of gave Sam confidence,
right?
And just
in this day in the NFL, you can't dink and dunk your way down the field. It's just too hard to do. You need chunk plays, and that's what this guy offers, chunk plays. And Smith and Jigba is man, he is just insane. And you mentioned Kupp, a couple of strategic plays. He's the consummate pro. not the guy he was when he was the Super Bowl MVP a handful of years ago, but still knows exactly how to be where he's supposed to be. He knows where the yard markers is, situational football, you name it. The guy is reliable.
I could see this cat having, 8 to 10 catches in this game, some critical third down conversions. It took him a while to kinda get up
Get
to
his
speed with
rhythm there.
Darnold, both of them
Yeah.
getting into this offense together, but you've really seen it, especially in that Rams game. He had a couple huge catches at critical points in that game, dude. I fully expect to see more of that in the Super Bowl from Kupp. And you
Yeah.
talked about it was Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker. Obviously, no Charbonnet, but Kenneth Walker seemed to pick it up too, and it's going to be hard to get this dude off the field because he will lay it all on the line in this offense, and they
Yeah,
really
you can
haven't
rest
missed beats.
later, right?
Yeah, since Sharps went down. So just I love Kenneth Walker's game there. He's going to have a huge role in this Super Bowl.
Absolutely. They need to be balanced between run and pass, for sure, because obviously the defense that they're facing, led by head coach Vrabel over there, they're a solid, solid unit to be certainly be reckoned with.
Let's go ahead and talk about those New England Patriots on defense. Dave, not a bunch of huge stars. Of course, there's a handful of names on the defense up front, especially Milton Williams. But, dude, this defense has taken it to another level on this playoff run that they've gone through. It's actually carried this team quite a bit. We saw it in the wild card round against your Chargers. How impressive and how
Brutal.
disruptive they can be, man, and
Yeah,
so physical, dude.
very, very physical. That's how their coach is. He wants them to be physical, but also intelligent. They all are definitely coached extremely well, but they are the second defense in terms of points given up per game. So, um, that's or fourth rather. I'm sorry, in the league, giving up just 18.8 points a game. So it's a very, very solid defense. When they get down into the red zone, they tighten up a little bit, and it's hard to score on these guys.
And they really made Justin Herbert struggle.
Oh,
They absolutely destroyed, man. They took years off the life of CJ
yeah.
Stroud
Eh,
and City after that first drive he had. There was really nothing else that he could do in that. We've seen Sam in the past, kind of when he struggled, it's kind of been like turnovers galore.
Yeah.
That could be a situation. I mean, that's kind of they've turned the
Yeah.
ball over so many times in this playoff run already.
Yeah, and they've fumbled the ball and gotten them back too. So we'll see if the Patriots are able to force fumbles on Sam Darnold. And you know, obviously, you don't want Sam getting into a rhythm. So if you're Vrabel and company, they can play it safe for the most part and rush for and have an effective pass rush, but might need to find a way to get a free runner coming at him to create some big plays from the defensive side. So we'll see how they come about that. Maybe sending a handful of blitzes here and there, timely blitzes. But yeah, this Patriots defense, man, it's a lot. You know, coming into this postseason, I was like, they're solid, but they had a pretty easy schedule. But they're showing against the elite teams in the AFC now through the playoffs that they mean business, and we'll see if they can handle this Seahawks offense, which obviously we know can be very very productive.
Yeah, and I thought Kubiak did a great job. So obviously some quick passes, get the ball out of Darnold's hand.
Yeah,
Uh,
get him into a rhythm, get him
They also
comfortable.
moved him around quite a bit, rolling to both sides, and then some heavy play action to let him hit some stuff over the top. But some well-timed blitzes on these Patriots. They got home every round of the playoffs,
Yeah.
got a bunch of sacks. So, like you mentioned, making teams fumble too. So Sam's gonna have to be careful with the ball, and hopefully they don't show him stuff that will confuse him. But that Patriots defense is going to be ready to play, man. So,
Yeah, and they can disguise looks and stuff. So Sam's going to have to trust in his guys and hit Smith and Jigma. you know, go to the dude who's so productive.
okay, let's go ahead and stay with the Patriots and start with their offense here. Drake May has been an MVP candidate for the season. He's
Yeah.
not had a great playoffs, had a lot of turnovers, but he's also made the play when you absolutely had to have it. The big fourth down run against the Broncos that
Yeah.
extended that drive. And when he's needed to be his best, he's kind of done that despite the mistakes.
Yeah, and the fourth, I mean, it was the touchdown he scored too. It seemed like that Broncos defense is very, very difficult to score on. They got that turnover down into deep into the territory there, and yeah, he called his own number basically, quarterback draw. So yeah, Drake May can use his legs, but obviously he's got a big arm. They do like to go for big chunks downfield when they can get him. Like I said, it's hard in this league if you're just going to try and drive for 10, 12, 14 plays and get a touchdown if you can't somehow manufacture a big play on the way. And Drake May, with his big arm, can make big plays. And like when he doesn't see something downfield, he does know how to get out of the pocket and use his legs.
And when he does have stuff downfield, he's been pinpoint accurate on it. Against the Texans, against that crazy defense, he was throwing dimes
Yeah.
downfield, hitting Boudet. And Stephon Diggs still hasn't had a huge game
Yeah.
in the playoffs. That could be coming in the Super Bowl. But Dave, a lot like Cooper Kupp, what he does for the Seahawks, I think Mac Hollins can do some of those things for the Patriots, man. Had a couple big grabs in that Broncos game, is just kind of an energizer guy as well.
Yeah. And like you said, Booty there with the one handed grab with the touchdown. I mean, yeah, the playmakers, for this Patriots team, they don't jump out at you, but when you all put it all together, uh, with McDaniel's there calling the plays, they can be a pretty formidable offense.
Yeah, dude. And your former Charger, Hunter Henry, him and Drake May have a
Big time.
nice connection there too. And Dave, Trevion Henderson had moments during the season where he showed flashes what he's gonna be. But right now, dude, Ramondre Stevenson is the guy for the Patriots.
Yeah, he sure is, and he's got great hands out of the backfield too. It would not surprise me for him or Henderson to have like one huge run or two
Mm.
huge runs in this Super Bowl. Uh, they're both explosive backs. It's a nice 1-2 punch. But right now, yeah, you're right. Ramondre is the dude. And Trevion Henderson is kind of a little bit of a wild card in there.
Yeah, because dude, if he gets past the initial mug, he's gone, dude. He
We've
has
seen him
that
have
speed.
big runs this
Yeah.
season. That one game he had two huge runs in. So I mean, the both guys have the big play capability, and so we'll see if the defense for the Seahawks is up for containing that run game. They've been exceptionally good against the run on the season, so we'll see if they can bottle them up and try and make the Patriots one dimensional.
Let's talk about that Seahawks defense, dude. They've been one of the most dominating units in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
Tops in scoring defense. It's really hard to get points against these guys.
Yeah, in fact, they are number one defensively in points given up at 17.2 points a game. As I was mentioned, they're really good against the run, third in rush yards allowed on the season with under 92 yards given up a game. So they can take away your run game and then get after the quarterback. They also are eighth in the NFL on the season, getting sacks with 47. So really, it's a systematic sort of dismantling of what you do offensively. Stop the run game, set you up in third and long or uncomfortable, get after the quarterback. And they're also pretty good at picking the ball off. 18 interceptions on the season. That ranks fifth.
Yeah, dude. And if Reek Woolen doesn't have that taunting penalty, they might pull away from the Rams. That really was a game
It was a
changer.
huge pivotal
Brought
moment.
it
Yeah.
right back. So clearly, no one is going to make that mistake in the Super Bowl on the Seahawks. I'm sure they've discussed it
Extensively.
Yeah, but talk about, dude, this front four, man. They bring over Tank Lawrence from the Cowboys. They match him with Leonard Williams. But up front, man, they don't have to bring a lot of pressure to get pressure. You mentioned how good they are against the run, but they can get after quarterback with just 4 too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And we've noticed this in the last decade or so, maybe even 15 years or beyond. If you can rush the passer effectively and be disruptive with just your front four, and then play coverage essentially on the backside, and that's what the Seahawks want to do here. They rely on the interior linemen, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, these dudes to get after the quarterback. They can stop the run, but they also have that juice, that explosiveness that enables them to get after the quarterback. And when the quarterback is rushed and hurried, there's nowhere to go with it because there's still 7 guys in coverage.
Yeah, they got the huge 4th down stop when the Rams right down there with the goal to goal situation. And it is a mix of grizzled vets and John Schneider's hit big time with these last few drafts, dude. The rookie Nick Imanware, dude. This cat
Oh,
is an absolute stud.
yeah. There's only a few safeties in the league that physically match up to him. Derwin James, uh, the dude in Baltimore. There
Yeah.
aren't safeties built like that, you know.
Mhm.
It's just that big, that strong, that fast, instinctive. They can use him to cover. They're not afraid to use him to cover anybody on the field, uh, and he's a safety, so he doesn't need. He can go one on one. You can go man with him, and feel confident that he's going to be on his guy.
Yeah, and in the back end, Love and Bryant, man, a couple of the best there too. So just playmakers at
Yeah.
all 3 levels on this Seattle defense. Very disciplined, obviously, with Mike McDonald there playing his type of football. And then I'm not gonna do it, but yes, I'm going to. You know I had to. Super Bowl. But also, Dave, real quick, special teams. We want to talk about this. Both teams have pretty good kickers in the Patriots Broncos game. Broncos a couple mistakes, and the special teams. I think the Patriots had a couple mistakes too, but Rashid Shaheed, dude,
Yes.
this guy, he could have a Desmond Howard type impact on this Super Bowl too.
No doubt about it. I mean, he's one of the, if not the most explosive kick returner in the game right now. So, yeah, they traded for him, an exceptional move. You mentioned Schneider and getting guys. They felt like they were missing that speed element on offense, and what this guy has done on special teams. Traded up a 4th and a 5th round draft pick, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. And they wanted a 3rd rounder for him. The Saints did, but man, has he turned out to be super worth that? We'll
Absolutely.
see. But can he make a big play on when it comes to the actual kickers? Jason Myers is one of the best kickers, field goal kickers in the league for the Seahawks as well. On the other side, you got
And he swings a pretty good knife against those teens out at the cabin. Oh, wait,
no,
no.
you're confusing Jason and Mike Myers, Casey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And Dave, obviously, Super Bowl rematch. Both coaches are named Mike, and both punters, the last name, a Dixon.
That is insane.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow,
Dave,
crazy stuff.
that's all the kinds of fun goodness you can get when there's prop betting and such. And if you head on over to footballdudes.com now, what do we got for the people?
Yeah, that is the Football Dudes proposition bet sheet. It's a lot of fun to spice up your Super Bowl viewing party with your buddies. What you do is you there's 10 questions about the game. Each one is basically a 50-50 proposition, yes or no, heads or tails, over, under, and those 10 questions about the game, believe it or not, it is damn hard to nail them. We've been doing it for about 25 years. I finally, and I make it. I finally won my first one last year. Blows my mind, but it's a fun element to the game. A little pool, a little extra juice on the game, and everybody's excited about the coin flip. Everybody's excited about the first interception or the sacks, tallying up the numbers. It's a lot of fun. So
you gathered all this data and you crunched all those numbers. There's got to be a price for this prop sheet?
Dude, it is absolutely free of
What?
charge for all the football dudes fans out there.
Good work, my friend. How stoked are you, bro?
I am completely stoked for this Super Bowl, dude.
I am totally stoked for the Super Bowl. And you know what else stokes me out? That there are so many ways that people can check out the football dudes. The Trend Zone, available for subscription. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're on Amazon Music. Hey, Alexa, play the Trend Zone by the football dudes. It is right there for you.
Yeah, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Instagram, Facebook, follow us on X/Twitter at Football Dudes LA. Make sure you tag us across all social media platforms.
And while you're out there surfing the interwebs, go ahead and bookmark footballdudes.com and do not forget to download Dave's awesome prop sheet. Be the hero at your Super Bowl party. Oh, ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Yeah.
That is it for this episode of the Trend Zone. We're not the suits that talk football. We're the dudes that know football. For Dave, I'm Casey. Happy Super Bowl, people. We will see you soon.